Hello kids, welcome back! If you're not living under your grandma's chair, you would have read the news. The mother of all deals between India and the European Union has been officially signed, which is a huge deal for everybody. Well, at least someone's not happy. So what is this deal exactly? Kids, I'm going to try to explain this in the most simplest terms. Even your boring grandma will understand it. So basically, it's a trade deal where both parties are reducing the tariffs on their trades. And kid you not, this is very interesting. Both countries have been trying to sign this from 2007. Yeah, 2007. That's over 20 years. So why are they doing this now? Well, let's address the elephant in the room. It's our beloved America. Moving on, let's start with India first, because I need more audience. Up until 2025, that is before the current Trump's administration, goods that India exported to the US had very, very low tariffs. Some even had 0%. Yeah, literally 0%. And the US was India's easy money market. Like on average, India exported $77 billion worth of goods to the US every year, and most of it entered with zero tax. So basically, India made a lot of money. But the US, well, this is the part the US didn't like. India imposed massive tariffs on the goods imported from the US. It went as high as up to 100 to 150% on some goods. For example, Harley-Davidson, which sells their bikes, paid a 100% tax to sell their bikes in India. Basically, if a bike costed $20,000 in America, it would cost you $40,000 to buy in India. That's double the price.
Psych!
It was so bizarre that products such as California walnuts had to face a staggering 120% tax. Apples had to pay 50% tax as standard, an extra 20% as retaliatory tax. India did this to protect the businesses of local vendors, which is fair in my opinion. In your naughty grandma's terms, basically America was paying a lot of tax to India, and India was paying peanuts to America. And of course, after the new administration came into place, just within a few months in April, they wanted to settle things with India. They started to rapidly increase the tariffs on Indian goods. They put 25% on Indian textiles and jewelry, which was like 0 to 3% before. A $10 Indian-made t-shirt would now cost you $12.50 in the US. And for the jewelry part, as I said earlier, India used to sell diamonds almost duty-free in the US. But with the additional taxes, sourcing diamonds and other Indian-specific jewelry has become a hassle. This has significantly impacted the wedding space, especially for Americans of Indian descent, for whom jewelry is an important part of marriage traditions. And obviously you wouldn't know this because your grandma sucks. These diamonds are so freaking small that it can't be cut by machines, so it requires a human hand. And Surat has like 5,000 plus workshops where this is done. And also, this is a generational thing, so the craftsmanship is top-notch. It doesn't end here. In August of 2025, U.S. government imposed an extra 25% tariff on India.
Oh my God! Wow!
The reason? Your grandma started an OnlyFans. India was still buying oil from Russia, and the U.S. hated that. So at the end of the day, India was paying like 50% tax on some of its goods sold in the US. We will come back to India. Until then, let's talk about the EU. The US and EU relationship is the classic breakup story that explains why Europe ran into India's arms. It went from a slightly toxic marriage to a full-blown divorce in just 12 months. If a US-made car was to be sold in Europe, it would cost extra 10% of tax. Whereas, let's say, if a German car was to be sold in the US, it would cost only 2.5% as the tax. You can't miss out on the Airbus versus Boeing thing. US claims the European government used to pay billions in subsidies to Airbus, helping them sell cheaper aircrafts and stealing business from US workers. So again, US imposed a 25% tax on random European things like French wine, Italian cheese, Scotch whiskey.
What?
Also, the EU did not like how the American tech giants like Google, Amazon made billions in Europe without paying any tax. So they imposed a digital tax just to target them. So again, America gave back with more tariffs.
Another one.
Then the Europe targeted American farmers. Basically, it was a tit-for-tat situation. Now, America didn't have good trade relationships not just with India, but also the EU. So to end this misery, after almost 2 decades, on January 27th of 2026, India and the EU finally signed a major trade deal. They were basically like, "F you" to America. This is not just some random deal of the street. This is a huge news. Most of the goods exchanged between the two parties will see a massive drop in the tariffs, with a drop as high as 30%. Some goods are also going as low as 0%. This will increase the buying power of Indians on European imports, especially on cars. Like 110% tax on cars is truly grandma-level absurdity. Like you are basically paying double the price of the car's original value. For example, if a Porsche Macan costed $60,000 in the US, in India, it would cost you $126,000 to own it.
What the f?
But after the deal, you gotta pay only like 10% of the car's value, which means a Porsche Macan that costed $126,000 will now cost you only $66,000. So yeah, that's a big difference. Europe can also enjoy Indian goods like cheaper diamonds, cheaper clothes, cheaper leather, and so many other things for a lesser price. FYI, this deal applies to only the countries that are the members of the European Union. So your favorite YouTuber from London or something still gotta pay a lot for the Indian stuff. And I also want to say, kids, ultimately, every leader wants the best for their country. So there is no need to hate on anyone. That is it for today's video. If you want to know who is benefiting more from this deal, India or Europe, or you want to know what will America do to oppose this, make sure you have subscribed and like the video. It helps me to get up from bed and make more videos.
Psych!